recording now. So, welcome to the Mentally Whole podcast. I am your host, Lauren Green, and we have a special guest today, my friend Jessica. And we are talking about her journey with therapy. But before we get started, we have a few icebreaker questions.
Okay.
I like those. So, what is your favorite song right now?
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I could really say it.
I mean, you can say it.
It's the only song I can think about. Um, yeah, WAP. I'm just gonna put it out there. WAP.
I mean, WAP is a good song. I just only listen to it like once.
Get everybody
it's a
up.
little lit. I mean, I like the beat. I do like the beat. I enjoy it.
I'm not too crazy about the lyrics, but it make you move a little bit.
Yeah, the lyrics they do a little too much, but you
I
know,
agree.
but it's Cardi and Meg. It's not like I'm not too surprised. So
If it's not WAP, anything Trey songs.
Trey
Any of
songs.
yes.
Does he have new music?
He's coming out with something. He has this new song. I want to say it's called Circles or something, but I like his old stuff, so that's always in rotation for me.
Yeah, I love Trey. I haven't listened to him in a while though, but
You should.
Trey is good. I
I
like
love
Trey. The next question is, what is your favorite food?
anything sweet, sugary,
Mm.
um, cheesecake, cookies,
Ooh, I like
cereal, even.
cheesecake cookies. Mm.
Yes, cheesecake cookies. But if I had to choose between like cheesecake cookies and cereal, I would choose cereal all day, every day, breakfast, lunch, dinner.
What
The
kind of cereal?
all the sugary stuff, Fruit Loops, frosted flakes, sugar smacks, Captain Crunch, all that.
Yeah, I don't eat cereal like that. So I mean I do, but it's not like every day like I have to have it. I just don't eat cereal like that no more.
I don't buy it as much because I try to watch like my carb intake.
Yeah.
So I just leave that on the shelf right there over there in the grocery store. I keep it moving.
And our last question is, what is your favorite animal?
Cat,
The
hands
cat?
down.
Okay.
I'm a cat person. I don't have a cat, but I grew up with them and I absolutely love them. And my time on Instagram and Facebook is probably cat videos.
Yeah, I follow a couple of foster kitten pages and they like foster cats and it's
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah, that's
They
so
help
cute.
them back. They help them get back to like help them get well and stuff. And I'm like, oh, save the
Mhm.
cat.
Yeah, I feel like most people should follow pages like that so they can get like a better outlook on cats because most people just don't like cats. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean they get a bad rap. They scratch stuff.
Not on purpose.
They scratch, and well, sometimes they do. Sometimes they do because they feel like it.
They emotional.
They they emotional.
You don't call it emotional.
They are. So our first question.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, wait. So we're continuing the series of therapy tales where I highlight people who have been to therapy. And I think we should talk about therapy because people don't talk about it enough. Like they just don't. They just don't.
There's been more
Actually,
talk about it lately.
yes, in the last couple of years, it's been like a uphill of like, let's talk about therapy and mental health.
Mm-hmm.
But, when we first started out in mental health, no one was really talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you were the first person that I know that was my age that was going to therapy on a
Really?
regular. Yeah, girl, I know I was going to therapy.
You really thought I was something wrong with Jessica.
Ain't nobody was going. We had stuff going on, but we just ain't go to therapy. Like
That young, right, right. You
should
just
have, we should have went. We should have went to
talking about it
therapy.
with your girlfriend. It was like, all right, I'm good
And
now.
that's it. But we should have went. We should have went to therapy and saw a professional, not like,
Mhm.
oh, let's go turn up every night. Like, no. That's not.
Mhm.
So
It
how
was
long did you go to therapy?
2 years, a little over 2 years,
Oh my,
uh, and then I got kicked out.
you got kicked out.
No, so we terminated the sessions. That's
That I
what.
mean, that sounds like our therapist though, because she did the same thing to me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she was like,
Uh-huh.
it's kind of like time for you to go. And I was like, oh,
Oh, are you sure?
yeah.
You
She was like,
sure I progressed?
yeah. She was like, it's time for you to go. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, a little over 2 years. Yeah, 2 years.
So, what was your, I guess, mindset like when you started therapy?
Oh, I'd say that I just I just thought I could get through it on my own.
Yeah.
Like you talk to your friends, this will
Hmm.
pass. I actually had a friend in therapy and I'm like, she doesn't seem to be getting better, so why should I go to therapy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's
Definitely.
not helping you. It's not going to help me. I'm just going to try to get through this on my own. But it wasn't. It wasn't working. What I was doing wasn't working.
Yeah. I feel like that's a theme though in our community. Like, we'll just get through it, or we'll just
Hmm.
talk to our parents or whoever we trust, and that's it. And sometimes that works. Like, I'm not knocking it because it does work, but sometimes it doesn't work
A
at
lot
all.
of times it doesn't.
Yeah, because sometimes they be giving weird advice
I was
and
about to say that, like, some of the stuff that your homegirls tell you is just like, you told me that and I listened to you.
yeah, it's weird advice sometimes, and I'm just like, I don't know if I should listen to that. But what made you, like, what event made you start to go to therapy? Like, what was the turning point where you were like, I need to go to therapy?
So for me, it was I had just got out of a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
a 5 year relationship with this guy I had been with since like the end of high school.
Yeah.
So 18 all the way through undergrad, we were together, and then it was up and down, a lot of ups, a lot of downs,
Mm-hmm.
and we had broken up like the last year.
Yeah.
Um, And I was doing fine. Like 6 months out of the breakup, like I had got a new job. At that job, we were working at Advantage.
Yeah.
Um, and everything was good, but it's like I started to crash and
Mm-hmm.
I was crying all the time. I was upset. Like I was just constantly replaying everything. Like maybe you could have did this, you could have did
Mm-hmm.
that. And I started isolating.
Yeah.
I was diabetic at the time, so I was just my diet was out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up going to therapy because of that. But after a friend, the girl, the same person I told you who I was like, it's not working for you,
Yeah.
decided to go after she kind of pushed me to go. And I'm glad that I did because her process was different. And I know that now. But I'm glad I took the chance and went when I did.
Yeah, I think everybody's process is different in therapy.
Hmm.
Because sometimes people just don't listen to what their therapist says. So there's that.
You know that very well.
Or or they're just not ready to tell, their full truth in therapy. Like
Mhm.
they'll talk about some stuff, but not everything.
Not all of it. I was an open book. Like
I
I
know you're
think
like an open book with me.
I feel like to a certain extent, I'm an open book, and that can be good and bad, or
Yeah.
sometimes you have to kind of turn that down. But I was an open book, and I just wanted to feel better.
Mhm.
I just wanted to feel better, and I was giving it a shot. That was the first time I knew a therapist was a social worker.
Mhm.
First time I only saw therapists on TV. What's
Yeah.
that show? That movie with Will Smith? He was like a love therapist. I don't know.
Oh, Hitch. Yeah,
Hitched,
Hitch.
or
Yeah.
I don't know if he was a therapist, but I never knew about therapists
Yeah.
at all. So it was a gamble for me, but I took it and it
I
worked.
mean, it was a good gamble. Sometimes we got to take uh good
Hmm.
risk sometimes.
And I sought a black woman. I specifically wanted a black woman. So when my friend told me about it, I said, "Is she black?" And she was like, "Yes." So I was like, "Ding ding."
Yes, because
Mhm.
we love our therapist because we had the same therapist, and I loved her. Um,
I referred you to her.
yeah,
You said that earlier. I was like, I referred
yeah.
Lauren to her. I
So
referred.
this is like a random story. So I was looking for a therapist, and I was on Therapy for Black Girls, and
Mhm.
she's on there, and I was like, why
Is
does
she?
she look? Yeah, and I was like, why does she look so familiar? Like, why do I know this name? Like, I kept looking at her name, like, why do I know this name from somewhere? And then I had
Mhm.
texted you, like, hey, was this your therapist? And you were like, yeah, girl, she's great. Like,
Girl, I forgot. I forgot because I referred four people total, and out of the four people, three of you all went to her.
yeah, she was like, oh yeah, and then I was like, oh, so and so referred me. She was like, oh, I love her. Like, but yeah, I had text you, and you were like, yeah, that's my therapist, and I was like, that's why her name looks so familiar.
She's amazing. She
Because
was the best.
you had actually gave me her card back when we worked at Advantage.
Okay.
I just never used it when we were at Advantage. That's why I was
Girl.
like, why does her name look so? I know that was a long time ago too. But I was like, why does her name look so familiar? Like, but it was her.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, so what are some of the lessons you learned in therapy?
I think the biggest lesson for me was like sitting with my feelings. That may be like, I don't know if that's therapy talk, I don't know, but like really sitting with my feelings.
Yeah.
It's okay to feel how you feel,
Hmm.
um, but don't wallow in them.
Yes, that is
Don't
a good
wallow
point.
in the feelings. You
That is
know,
a good point because some people
very good
just
point. She helped me with, and that's when mindfulness was first introduced to me. Now
yeah,
I'm not some mindfulness queen, okay. I'm not queen of mindfulness,
yeah.
but that was the first time she introduced it to me, and she taught me about just kind of sit with them, acknowledge them.
Hmm.
um I self-doubt a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, is there any rationale for this thought, or is this you just,
Hmm.
for lack of a better term, doing the most, Jessica? Like, you know?
Yeah. I can say that was one thing I learned in therapy too, to just make sure you're not making it about you. Because sometimes we kind of like make stuff about ourselves, and it's like, well, maybe the person was busy, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
they had other stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
And she was good with reminding me of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did a lot of that, like post breakup. I internalized a lot of stuff, and I'm like, this is because of me. This
Mm-hmm.
is... She's like, no,
Yeah.
you sat here and told me XYZ. This is not because of you.
Mm-hmm.
This is something out of your control.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to learn that too. Like, do what's within your control.
Mm-hmm.
That's about them. This is about you.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on that.
Yeah. And I think another point that you made was about allowing ourselves to feel how we feel. Because sometimes we don't do that. We just kind of like, oh, okay, that's whatever, brush it off, keep it going. And then those feelings just start to build like every day.
Mhm.
Like, oh, I'm feeling sad. Now I'm full blown depressed. Or I'm angry and I'm about to have a whole tantrum out here in these streets.
Mhm.
Um,
And you know what? You're gonna get it. I don't even know you,
exactly.
but you're gonna get it because I'm angry.
Yeah, I'm mad, and I ain't even mad at you. I'm mad at that had something that happened like a week ago. Like you just mad,
Exactly.
just mad.
No, you absolutely right. And like, I think like when she told me, like she helped me see things in a different way, but I was really invested.
Mhm.
And I will say that's a big part of therapy is be ready to be invested.
Mhm.
It's a journey. Some people fall off and get back up and go back, but like I consistently went, and I was just dedicated to myself in the process because I really wanted to feel better, and I needed to understand some things. And she therapy really helped me understand a lot of different things that I was just like, wow, I would have never thought about it in this way until I spoke to somebody, about it.
Yeah, therapy is a personal investment. I don't think people realize that. And
Mhm.
most of the time, people have mental health benefits on their insurance. They just don't know about them.
We all got it. And in
Yeah,
light of everything that's been going on, all the tragedies that have happened, everything going on, like
yeah,
there.
yeah. But people, the concept of investing in ourselves is kind of like a foreign concept,
Mhm.
especially in the African American community. I don't know about anybody else's community, but sometimes it's like a foreign concept. Like they're like, "What? Do this for 2 years or do this for a year?" No, I'm not doing that.
And the way people think about investing in themselves is probably different than going. It's you don't immediately think about therapy,
Yeah,
you know.
we
I
think
know
about that. I mean, we think about the other stuff, the dieting, the exercising, the school, going to school. We think
Mhm.
about, I don't know, getting a car. Like that's an investment.
I
But
definitely don't think
to think
about
about, but thinking about therapy, it's like, ooh, I don't want to do that. Or I don't want to tell that person my life story. Um,
yeah.
Especially with our older, seasoned people, they don't want to hear about therapy.
Yeah, I have to understand that, and I have to respect people's feelings.
Yeah.
And just because I was open, I can't expect the next person to be open or as open as me.
Hmm.
But for whatever reason, I liked the thought of going to somebody who knew nothing about me and just laying it out on the table.
Hmm.
You
It's a
know,
good feeling. Just
I
just
liked
lay everything.
it.
Just lay it all out.
It was a good feeling for me. And she was neutral.
Hmm.
She wasn't like, I'm taking this side, I'm taking that side. Like she was neutral, and she made me feel very comfortable.
Yeah, she would tell you in a minute, like, I don't think that's a good idea.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
if you want to do it, go ahead. But
Yeah. And one thing I appreciate that she did, I want to say within our last couple of sessions,
yeah.
she read something back to me, and I remember like wrinkling my face up. I was like, who said that? She was like, you. I was like, I would never say that. She was like, I wrote this down word for word. And
Oh.
so that helped me uh see how far I had come,
Hmm.
because from whenever I said that to the end, it was like my mindset had changed.
Hmm.
My At one point in therapy, I was like, I can't focus on losing weight until I figure out all this other stuff. Like it's like my mental health was just it was affecting everything.
Hmm.
I was diabetic. I didn't want to die from diabetes, and people
Hmm.
people die. They
They
have
do.
health issues from diabetes, and it's completely preventable, most of it. So therapy, honestly, in a way, it saved my life because I was heavy. I needed to lose weight, and I had told myself that until I figured this out, and that probably was the wrong thing to do. And I ended up doing it, working my mental health and my weight at the same time. But because I didn't know what was going on initially, I couldn't focus on my health, which was very important. And therapy helped me
Yeah.
get in a headspace to be able to focus on, my physical health.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Therapy is a game changer. I feel like everybody should go to therapy at least once in their life.
Say it
Um,
again. Say it again. And hopefully
because
it's a good therapist, because I've heard some stories.
yeah, some people do. Yeah, yeah, you right.
Unfortunately.
Because I mean, I think the big thing for me when I went to therapy is that she taught me about the mind body connection, and that you need to like listen to your body and listen to your brain at the same time. I said, well,
Mhm.
this is hard. This is hard
That
work.
is very hard.
This is hard work, sis.
You're like, do you do it?
Like this
I
is hard work.
don't say that.
Because I was so I had started in April of last year, maybe like March or April.
Mhm.
And then we had maybe like one or two sessions together. Maybe no, it might have been like a month, maybe like three or four.
Okay.
And then I had a session scheduled. And then it was one week I was like, hey girl, I gotta cancel. I'm in the hospital. And she was like, what's wrong with you? And I was
Mhm.
like, long story, sis, long story. But when I came back, she was like, you really need to focus on the mind body connection. Like if you're not feeling well, then go to the doctor or whatever. And I was like, see, you just helped me out. I love Shonda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She was the best. Honestly, I want to go back, and I credit her, well, the process, because I just finished undergrad.
Hmm.
I knew I wanted to get my master's, wasn't sure what, but I knew I wanted to go back to school. That was another thing. I was just like, it was all over the place.
Yeah.
And between my job working with homeless women and seeing that she was a licensed clinical social worker, I was like, I think social work is where I want to be. And that's how I ended up choosing social work. And your girl is,
The social worker,
yes, I take my licensing exam in November. So I'll be
I'm
in a
here for it.
social worker. Thank you, girl. Thank you.
Yeah.
So like that whole process like helped me with so much. So I am forever grateful. And I'm not just saying it, I'm really forever grateful for the 2 years that I spent in therapy and getting to know myself
Hmm.
um, a little better. And it's an everyday struggle. Like it's not like I'm fixed,
Yeah.
fixed or anything like that. Like it's an everyday struggle because I have my
Hmm.
own personal, things that I go through. And like I said, I allow myself to really sit in my feelings, but I try my best not to like go down that rabbit hole because I
Yeah.
know where it leads to
Yeah. It leads to disaster.
depression,
All
all
of it.
that
All of it. Yeah, I think that I lost my train of thought while you were talking. Um it was about therapy and oh, that's what it is.
The whole
Therapy,
conversation about therapy.
I know, but I had the thought when you were talking and it just went away. But no, I think that people fail to realize that therapy not only helps one area of your life, but it helps multiple areas. Like helps you with your finances. It can help you with setting boundaries. People don't have boundaries these days.
No, we don't.
Setting boundaries help you with relationships. It just helps like every area of your life. Like, and you don't even realize it until you probably like, oh, this really did help me with all areas of my life. Like,
Yes, yes. Dating, I want to highlight dating because I was dating throughout I would say like mid therapy to the end, like the
yeah.
first dating, like it helped me set boundaries, and I still have to work on boundaries. But you're not going to treat me like that, sir.
Okay.
Uh,
Tell the
you're not
people. Tell them.
there. Restored in therapy, the weight loss, me feeling better about myself,
Mm-hmm.
helped me, learn how to date better. It's not okay to just let people do and say anything to you. Therapy helped me realize that.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Therapy is like a one-stop shop. It just helps you with everything. Like I just
Hashtag therapy.
hashtag go to therapy. That's what we need to do.
Yes.
Go
We
to
need to
therapy and go get a journal because y'all just be saying whatever on the social media streets.
Lord.
They do. I'll be like, this is not meant for social media. Like, no.
But you know what? In this age, and we're millennials, aren't we millennials?
We are millennials. Hmm.
But I don't put all my business out there on Facebook. It's just something about I just don't feel comfortable, but I will write stuff down. And I'm not a consistent journaler. I don't think that's a word, but we're gonna say it's a word. I don't consistently journal,
Yeah,
but
me
I
too.
have these moments where I just have to dump all
Mm.
my feelings out onto paper. It could be after a shower, I don't feel like writing. I'll do a voice recorder. I'll just dump all my feelings out. Excuse me. Because it's sometimes you just gotta get it out. I don't let anything stay in, even if I don't say it to somebody.
Yeah, one
I,
of my coworker just told me about that last week about doing like a voice recording.
hmm
That of journaling they used to do voice recordings, and I was like, oh,
It's
you know what?
convenient. Right in the bed. Right in the bed. Just pull your
Exactly.
phone out, let
And
it
voice
out.
record. I need to start doing that.
It
Mm.
helps. And then you go back and listen to yourself like, you were
I said
feeling
that. I said that.
right.
Like, why did I say that? Like, no.
But that it helps. It kind of creates like a maybe like a timeline, and you can make a lot of different connections too. Like, why were you
Hmm.
feeling this way on this day? Like, what were
Yeah.
you doing?
Yeah, I'm more of a journaler. And then when I was in therapy, She had said you should start like journaling the process, like journaling um therapy and things that you learn in therapy. I didn't do it as consistently, but I do it now, like
Mhm.
almost like 2, 3 times a week.
Oh,
But
cool.
I'm not a big voice recorder person, but I probably should start doing it.
You have a whole podcast.
Well, that's a look. So before I started the podcast, I
Yeah.
didn't like hearing my voice at all.
Okay. It's
Um,
very comforting, soothing almost.
but now since I started the podcast, I'm like, oh, I got a nice voice or whatever. Or no, I ain't like it. But now I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share about your journey with therapy?
Hmm. I think I think that's about it. I mean, I want to go back.
I mean, you can like.
I can go back. I
Oh, I can't hear you anymore. I don't. Mm, mm. Yeah, I can't. I can't hear you anymore. I don't know what just happened.
my connection said unstable, so
Oh, you were talking. I was like, she talking, but I can't hear nothing.
I don't know the last thing you heard, but I have two jobs.
You got 2 jobs?
I got two jobs,
Well, we
and
can have a conversation after this one.
yes, I got two jobs. And one of those jobs is it can be a very stressful job. It's
Yeah.
notorious known for being super stressful. Child welfare, I'll just put it out there. It's child welfare,
Oh yeah, child welfare is stressful.
and I'm still in training. And one of the interview questions they asked me was, "How do you self care?"
Mm,
Um, And I figured they asked me that because of the nature of the job. And I was really shocked
yeah.
because I've never been asked that on an interview.
Yeah.
But, you know, the point I'm trying to make is there doesn't necessarily have to be something wrong for you to go to therapy. We put that whole crazy, like you have to be crazy to go to therapy. No, no. So I do plan to seek therapy again, especially with having that job. And I work on an inpatient psych unit, and it just is stressful.
That sounds stressful, Jessica. That I'm gonna need you to. That sounds stressful.
Well, I haven't started the child welfare job yet. I'm training, but inpatient psych, that's where I spent like 7 months of my last internship for school.
Oh.
So I'm kind of used to it, but it's very fast paced, and it
Oh
does.
yeah, because you have patients leaving, patients going. Yeah,
Mhm.
patients coming and going all the time. Well, yeah, mm,
Yeah, I plan to seek therapy again, so don't
yeah.
have to be crazy to seek therapy.
Like one of my coworkers, again, because we're all therapists. Duh. She said she had went for like 6 months or so, and then she was going through like a transition period of like starting with us. So she went back to therapy again, just to like talk through some things, and then now she's like finished. So
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't have to be long drawn out. Like, it's not about sitting on a couch and talking to somebody and, it just goes on unless you need that.
yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, it just depends on like where you are in life and how long you and your therapist think you need in therapy. Like, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 2 years, it could be a year, and then go back for another year.
Yeah.
It depends.
Yeah. But it will always be somebody there. So reach out.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Jessica, for coming on the show.
Absolutely. I love talking about therapy.
I know, because you was telling me about therapy back at
I
Advantage.
tell everybody. Go to therapy. You go to therapy. Everybody needs to go to therapy.
They do. Just go to therapy and get your life, like Tamar Braxton
Right.
says, and get it together. Well,
Mhm.
I hope this episode has helped you guys, and this is another episode of the Mentally Whole Podcast.